to do a quick video about the Aprilia 660 electronics. You'll hear me talk about the mode switch, which is on the right handlebar, and the arrow keys, which are on the left, which are the main things to get around this guy. So right off the bat, when you start the bike up, you get these three options when you cycle through the mode button: commute, dynamic, and individual. So commute, dynamic, individual, and if you hold down the mode button, you can go in to edit these. So you can see here, this is where you can start editing the individual mode, but commute and dynamic are set. So the first variable is engine map. You can see in commute it's 3. You get 3 levels for engine map. I'm guessing 3 is the least aggressive, so the least responsive, and I'm guessing also in 3 you don't get full power, but I still have to mess with these. And the next one is engine brake, which is kind of the opposite. So engine brake 3, I'm guessing, is the least aggressive. So if you chop the throttle quickly, you don't actually go to 0 throttle as fast as you ask for. It keeps the throttle bodies open a tiny bit. And that goes for cornering too. So if you're at a high lean angle in a corner and you chop the throttle, you're not actually going to get full engine braking in engine brake 3. I'm guessing, like I said, I didn't try this, but I'm guessing it's going to apply some throttle body so there's not a buck on the rear wheel. Engine brake 2 will be a little bit less, and then the individual you can set to whatever you want. Next is traction control. There's 8 settings plus off. So 8 would be the most intervention, so that would be the least amount of slip to start doing traction control. So you can see in commute we have 6, dynamic 5, and this one you can set whatever you want. And I thought it was interesting that when you go traction control off, wheelie control also goes off. There's some bikes where you can turn these off individually, but it doesn't really matter. Whatever works. Next is wheelie. It's either on or off. I'm curious to try this too at a track like Pittsburgh where there's a crest. Also Grattan has a good crest where we can try this and see how well it works. I'm anxious to give that a shot. Then ABS, we also have 3 modes. So ABS 3 is going to be the most amount of intervention and also the least amount of rear wheel lift allowed. And I'm guessing ABS 2, it'll allow you to have a little bit of rear wheel lift and also less intervention in cornering in normal ABS. And then ABS 1, I know, is rear off, and it will allow you to lift the rear wheel. So basically, if the rear wheel is in the air in one of these modes, it'll let off front pressure so that you set down the rear wheel. Now, these are the normal road modes, I guess I would say. So if you go back to the main screen, hold down the right arrow, and put the vehicle into race mode, then the screen changes. We get challenge mode and time attack mode. And you can see no longer the speed's the biggest thing. Now your lap time is the biggest thing. Your speed's a little smaller, and then you get your electronic controls on the screen. Now this is kind of the same where challenge you can't edit, but time attack you are allowed to edit. So challenge is a little less electronic intervention than dynamic mode on the other screen. And then time attack is whatever you want it to be. So I'm very curious to try this, especially in this time attack mode, because you can see all your electronic settings here. The cool thing about time attack mode is you can change your traction control on the fly with the cruise control button. So I'm really curious to try this on the track and just start at 7, do some laps, and then bring it down to see how much slip it's allowing me to have. And you can turn it off too if you hold down on the cruise control button. So that would be traction control off. One annoying thing is you can't change wheelie or engine brake or wheelie control on the fly. I think that would be really fun that you could, and interesting and informative if you could flip through those lap by lap like you could traction control. It's a little frustrating that you'd have to come in every time and you're gonna have to hold down the mode button, blah blah blah, go into here to change the engine brake. But I'm also guessing that 1 is, since they put 1 as the challenge engine brake, that it's just gonna be the one that works best. But it would be cool if you could change it on the fly like traction control. But yeah, that's all. I'm excited to try this. Hopefully in February or something we can get on track and give this thing a rip. Dairy Boys.